Hey guys, Greg from East Coast Eyes, and I've got another installment of Head to Head. In this installment, I'm comparing the High School Blade Pro to the High School Surgeon. And so these are two very popular heads right now. The Surgeon would be and was my pick for attack heads for quite some time, and also midfield. The Blade Pro is relatively new. You can see the similarities in the face shape, so I figured this would be a pretty good comparison for you guys. They are about the same price. The Blade Pro, well, actually I think the Surgeon is a little more expensive than the Blade Pro. The Blade Pro is only $85, which is really good for a new head, especially one as highly anticipated as the Blade Pro. So I was surprised by that, and that's why I was so quick to go buy one, because it really wasn't that bad. But the Blade Pro is a little bit lighter than the Surgeon, but they're both very light, so that doesn't make a huge difference. The one thing about the Blade Pro is it really is intended for face-offs. And so I don't know how that affects a head as far as playing attack with it goes, but as far as I can tell, I have one that I strung for myself, and as far as I can tell, it worked just as well for field play as it would for face-off play. They're actually pretty stiff, especially down here at the throat. This design, the crossbar design, is really low in the head, so the throat's really stiff, and that's going to allow the top part of the head, the flex point, to be up a little higher, and also for it to flex a little bit this way. Which is nice, and it'll be nice and rigid for the part that's going to carry the ball if you're an attackman when you're cradling one-handed. You can see clearly the similarities in the face shape of the two heads, both very narrow through the throat with a very high, aggressive, very fast pinch, which is what I like in my heads because I like to play with a mid-high pocket, and that's really, you can benefit from a higher pinch when you're stringing a mid to mid-high pocket. One thing that is different is the scoop. You can see how flat the scoop of the Blade Pro is compared to the more pointed scoop of the Surgeon. And I think what that's for is for really face-offs when you have the Blade Pro to make picking up balls a whole ton easier. And the pointed scoop is going to make just that channel a little more accentuated and making your passing just a little bit more accurate. So that is one difference. You can see even the pinch in the Blade Pro is even a little bit higher than it is in the Surgeon, and I thought the Surgeon had the highest pinch of any head out there, but it looks like, I mean, if you line them up, it looks like the Blade Pro is just a little bit higher, but it's also a little less narrow through the throat, especially down here at the very bottom, even though they are both high school heads. So the face shapes are similar, which is my favorite face shape in the game, so both these are interchangeable. Really like that face shape. Talk about stringing them a little bit. Start with the Surgeon. This has in the past been my favorite head to string, and I've strung a ton of them. People send a lot to me to string, and it's easily my favorite just because of the pinch. The sidewalls are not that abundant, but the placement is great. They're evenly spread down the head, and there's just enough of them to string pocket however you want. The top string holes are great. The holes are very large, which makes it string a triangle top string relatively easy. So overall, the Surgeon is one of my favorite heads to string, but the Blade Pro is also a breeze to string, so no complaints there. The top holes are all just big enough, and there's actually more sidewall holes than there are on the Blade, and they're also all evenly spaced out. I could use these top holes to be a little bigger. You can see how big the top holes are on the Surgeon compared to how big they are on the Blade. I like big top holes because I like to really secure that top string down to the sidewall. But overall, I actually preferred stringing the Blade more. I have one that's strung. Grab it real quick. Here's one that's strung, and it's strung up extremely easily. Got a really nice pocket in it just the first time I tried. So it was great to string the Blade. So I'm also going to give the edge on stringing to the Blade Pro. One thing I did like about the Surgeon that the Blade doesn't have, which it wouldn't have, is this ACP technology. Makes it really, regardless of whether it's hot or cold, it's going to maintain its stiffness. I know a lot of people's heads turn into a wet noodle when it gets hot out, and that's might be good for face-off guys, but it's not good for attack midfield. So that's something I really like, and especially if you're going to dye it, because dyeing them usually makes them even softer. And I've dyed a Surgeon with the ACP, and it still remained very, very stiff. So overall in this matchup, this is certainly an extremely tight matchup, and I hadn't bought a Surgeon yet, but I've been meaning to. And then I bought the Blade just because everyone on YouTube wanted me to check it out and review it. In this matchup, I am going to pick the Blade Pro. And Surgeon was my favorite head, but as far as stringing goes and the pinch and the flare, just doesn't get much better than the Blade Pro for me. Plus, it looks really sick, and it's a pretty high profile new head. You know, the Surgeon does look nice as well, but I really like those diagonal lines. Makes it look really aggressive. But the Blade's just a classic, and I think they did a really good job with the new Blade Pro. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to throw this video a like and subscribe if you want more string videos and tutorials.